Hey guys, how's it going? I'm trying to I'm trying to pull up my I'm trying to pull up YouTube, see if I'm even live yet. Oh man. I think I am. I think I am. Think I am. Oh yeah, we're live. Okay, how's everybody going? I had to lotion up my hands with my Yeti bar salve before I got started because my hands were all ashy. My legs and my hands get ashy. This is just about gone. Man, that smells so good. I think it's called the Desert Formula or whatever, but it's Yeti Bars lotion. Use the code DC10 at checkout. You get 10% off of this. Get a couple of them. Guys, keep them in your truck, keep them in your office so your hands are all soft when you get home and hug your wife. I could do commercials all day long. I'm going to stop now. How's everybody doing? I've got a couple of guests coming on. Got one waiting in the green room right now. We're waiting on another one to show up. I don't know if he's going to show up or not. He said he would, but these guys have a great story. So I thought I'd get on and just tell you what's going on. I got a new podcast dropping in the morning. Let's say before noon. Two really good stories. Really, really good stories. Also, how do I say this? My podcast, my What If It's True podcast has done really good this year. We've got almost 1 million views for What If It's True, 1 million downloads as you describe it in podcast terms. That's a lot less than the Dixie YouTube channel does. But the competition in the podcast world is really, really stringent. There's millions of podcasters out there. And so if any of y'all have not listened to those shows on the podcast network, you're really missing out. But anyway, in the next week or so, I'm switching to another podcast host. And the deal they're giving me is really good, and I'll be able to start. It costs a lot of money to run these podcasts. Some of them are free, some of the hosting sites are free. But if you want all the analytics and things like that, you have to pay for it. And I want to see who's watching, where they're from. I don't know your name or what city you live in, but it'll tell you that you're in Texas. That's about it. And I get this map. It's got these yellow dots everywhere. And we have people listening to that, just the podcast in the United States, Canada, Alaska, all over Europe, New Zealand. Oh, let's see, Australia. Anyway, here's what I'm saying. With this new deal, I can start as many podcasts as I want, and they don't charge me. They just have a different package than the previous podcast host I was using. And I was thinking about what I do right now is I take the Dixie audio and I put that on What If It's True? Why not? But I thought about doing just a dedicated Dixie Cryptid podcast. So I'll let y'all know what I decide on that. And it'll be easy to find. But I encourage you to get out there and download one of the podcast apps like Stitcher, Spotify, iHeart. And it's not just my podcast. There's tons of great podcasts out there to listen to. And people who watch my stuff, watch my channel, you like the audio experience, or you wouldn't listen to me, listen to this redneck. And so podcasting is easy, and it's easy on your phone. It uses a fraction of the battery, and if you live in a rural area, if you find a podcast you like, the next time you go to town, get close to a Wi-Fi or whatever, you can download a bunch of podcasts onto your phone, and it's like uses a fraction of the data that you use when you're watching a YouTube video. So anyway, that's my pitch on somebody from Dublin, Ireland. The voice on YouTube by a country mile. Oh, that's cool. I'm just gonna read some comments here. Will it still be available on Audacity? Audacity, I think, is what I think that's what the question is. Yeah, it'll be available wherever it's available now. And it's out there. That podcast is out there on 20 different podcast apps. Like I said, iHeart, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You know, a lot of people have Apple phones, iPhones, and they don't even know they have Apple Podcasts. Look back in your apps, go to your apps that you can't see, and all you have to do is bring it onto your homepage and click on it and start looking for podcasts. I mean, you can type in Bigfoot, and if that's what you like to listen to stuff about, man, they'll come up 50 different podcasts about Bigfoot, including mine. If you like true crime, just type in true crime. There'll be 10,000 podcasts on there, and some of them are good and some of them aren't. But you have to just kind of stumble through them and figure out which ones you like. But yeah, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Stitcher, Spotify, Audible, the Audible, Amazon's Audible site. You can listen to podcasts on that. You can find them anywhere. Anyway, I'm rambling on about that, and I didn't mean to, but it kind of amazes me that people that like the audio experience only want to see it on YouTube. Now, look, YouTube pays me. Nobody's getting rich at Dixie Cryptid. Trust me. You spend a ton of money doing this stuff on gear and subscriptions to royalty sites for music and stuff, but there's a net gain. It's not much, but it's a net gain. So if you go to the podcast, I don't make any money, but I'm telling you to go to the podcast. It's a great experience. It's really easy on everything, and it's podcasts are a lot of fun. So think about that. And I don't care if I lose few bucks. It doesn't. I'd rather you enjoy the show, and it's commercial free right now. When I switch to this new podcasting host, I think they're going to run ads, but they're not near as annoying as the YouTube ads. So there you go. There's my pitch for podcasting. It seems like there were 2 or 3 other things I wanted to tell you, but I can't remember anything. Well, it doesn't look like my second guest is going to show up. Let's see. Let me read through the comments. I'll give him about 2 more minutes. How's a crappie spawn fishing? I hadn't been yet. None of these lakes are up enough we can get a boat in them yet. Joe Bass. I can look up Sardis, and we're going to Grenada in March. Grenada's coming up pretty quick. And my son and I, both my sons, both my grandsons, we're going to put 2 or 3 boats in the water. We're going to fish for a couple of days and see what happens. But hey, Julie says she's placing an order for Yeti bars. That's awesome. They've got a new soap they're working on that they're coming out with, and I think it's called the Orange something sickle. But they're really perfecting the formula, and it should be available probably within a month, and I cannot wait to try it. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to bring John Bailey in. John and I became friends about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. I had him on, and we did an interview, and he's had some Bigfoot experiences, and so I'm going to bring him in here. John Bailey, welcome.
What's happening? What's happening?
Everything's good. Are you Did you get in touch with your friend?
No, he probably have issues with his tower out there. He said they don't have a great signal, so I'm assuming that's what it is.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, John called me about a month ago, and I was sick. And I couldn't return his call. I'm sure he thought I was being rude, but I just didn't feel like talking to anybody. Finally, I got back with him. Yeah, Ladina, it's called the Orange Dreamsicle. That's right. Sorry, John. Uh, but John was telling me a story how he became friends with Chris, and I'm not going to tell any of the story. I'm just going to let John. You want to talk about that, or you want to talk about Bigfoot first, or you want to talk about the Popeye you killed?
I'll talk about the story, then I'll talk about the Bigfoot story.
All
I'll
right.
talk about our friendship story. This was 2004. Well, I actually met his friend in 2013. His actual partner of his business. So his partner, we were when I was on Facebook, he actually sent me a message, and he said, "I want you to go to my message box and read what I wrote." And then go to my no, let me back up. He said, I want you to go to my page and look at the comment section and see what I wrote. So I did that, and he said, I want everybody to welcome John Bailey to our pro staff team. So I'm like, okay, who are these guys? I don't even know who they are, and I don't know what they're about. So I just went to his page and, like I said, looked at that, and then we started talking on the phone, and he said, I want to introduce you to my friend Chris from Kentucky.
Let me stop you. Can I stop you there? For people
Sure.
who don't know John, John is an avid hunter. He's like he's like a real proficient hunter. Deer, turkey. You hunt pigs or anything else, John?
Pigs. Africa. I've been to Africa.
That's right. He's a big game hunter in Africa. And here's the deal. He and I were just talking, and he was just telling me that he will spend 45 days on one spot scouting to kill one deer.
Yes.
He scouts way more than he hunts. But anyway, okay. So John has, and he's got products that he sells, and John has a YouTube channel. It's called the Iceman series. I'm going to link it in the description of this video. Matter of fact, I can. When you start talking, I'm gonna put it in the comments, John. But so just to kind of set the stage, John is a prolific hunter, outdoorsman, and he knows a hell of a lot more about it than I do. So okay, you and Chris connect. You take it from there, John.
Yes. I went to, I want to say Nashville, and it may be Birmingham, but I'm gonna use Nashville. We uh we met and shook hands, and the vibes were neutral vibes. And I'm thinking, okay, this is just one guy. Just gonna, as they say, you pass by and you speak, and you become an associate. And so time went on, and he would have issues with his business, and he would just call me up. We just talked, and it seemed like every month he would call me, and he have a issue. It's like he was venting to me, like I was his spiritual shoulder at the time. And I'm thinking, okay, I don't know where this is going. So he called me again, and then eventually I start calling him back. Say, hey, check on you, see how you're doing. And then I end up meeting his mom, and his mom was real sweet. So years passed. I'm not going to prolong it. So years passed, and uh, this was 2018. That's when we got seemed like we got a little closer, and I'm thinking this guy's really cool, and I guess he said the same thing for me. And then one day he called me, said, "You know what? He's really been going through a lot," and he said he's lost a lot of so-called friends. And then he told me, he said, "You know what? You're my best friend." That's what he told me. And I was like, "What?" And I'm thinking, see, I like I said, we come from two different sides of the track, and I grew up and I was taught that everybody's equal. That's how I grew up. And my mom and grandparents, they always say it's not about skin color, it's about character. So I was like, okay. So I carried that with me, and I started treating people as an individual since they taught me that. So that's Chris. Oh boy, yeah, he can't make it.
Okay.
So we we just got closer and closer and closer, and I realized he was my best friend as well. And what really stuck into me was when he told me on the phone one day. He said, "You know what?" He said he mounted a guy's deer, uh, and it's a black guy, first guy in his shop. And I'm thinking, okay, this is nice, but I'm thinking, have you mounted anybody else's deer that was black? And he said, no, this is the first black guy ever came in my shop since I've been doing it for, I guess, 30 some years. And I was like, whoa. And to him, it was like he hit a home run or something. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking, why is he really saying that? And then we started talking more. And he said, I've passed black people. He said I've shook black people's hand. He said, but I've never actually had a conversation with a black person ever. And I was like, you haven't? He said, no. He said, I started talking to you. I gravitated towards you, and we just started talking for hours. And I'm thinking, wow, I was sitting out on my leg, in my chair, just listening to this. And I was like, so you mean tell me out of all of your 50 some years, you have never had a conversation with a black guy? He said, no. He said, you're the first and only one. And for him to call me his best friend, that's why I had to talk about it, because it's like it wasn't a thorn that stayed in me. It was like a hook.
Yeah.
And I carried that. And I told Chris, I said, man, I said, we got to share this story because racism is real, and not just one color. It's racism in every color. But and it's sad that people are taught that, and I was told that it's about a man's character, not his color, and that's what people need to look at. But when he told me that, Cam, I was like, wow, for him to actually say that to me. And I'm thinking, I'm the only one you've actually carried on the conversation with. He's like, I think he's like 57. As I'll be 55 in April. But it just blew my mind for me to encounter something like that. And he told me I was his best friend, and I'm thinking God is doing some things, and I helped lead him to Christ as well. And that was the main purpose, really, of me getting with him as a associate or friend, is to help lead him to Christ. But that just really stuck in me. It stuck in me, and I just had to. Although I got his permission first, they asked him, could I share that? Because you're
Sure.
not supposed to do that without somebody's permission.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, that'd be an awesome idea. But I've never had that happen to me before, for a guy. And I'm not saying that he didn't like black people, white, Chinese people, or whatever. I didn't know, but it's just that I think he was taught as a little boy or a young man to stay with your own people, because a lot of kids are taught that. And for him to tell me I was his best friend, and then everything just like a snowball effect. I was like, wow, this is incredible. But
Yeah.
he's a really great guy.
And you guys are still big buddies to this day, right?
Yes, matter of fact, he's texting me right now.
Okay.
we talk. He'll call me up. He said, "Man, I need you to pray for my mother." So uh, I pray for his mom. I just talked to his mom about 4 days ago,
Oh,
and we still talk right to this day. And he called me about a scripture, and we'll talk about scripture. We talked 2 hours about Cain and Abel. We just talking about Cain and Abel for like 2 hours last week.
yeah.
And yeah, we talk a lot, but it's incredible. And that's what I think a lot of people need right to this day. Is it's not about what you're taught. It's about, first of all, it's about step outside of that box and think for yourself. Because unfortunately, I want to say leaders,
Yeah.
for the most part, have their own mind.
And news media.
Yes, yes. But a follower, pretty much, they'll follow people, and it's hard to break a follower's train of thought, and it's hard to break their training. And it's easier if a person is a born leader. You can pretty much think for yourself. I've
Yeah.
I've seen it time and time again.
Yeah. And you know, a lot of times, I mean, like you and I were talking the other day, I was raised in Memphis. Memphis is it's probably 60% black, 30% white, um, 10% Hispanic. I mean, it's just and it's been uh real close to 50-50 white and other races since I was born, I think. I don't know. So guys like me, guys who are from urban, you know, did you grow up in Atlanta?
No, I grew up in Cambridge, Maryland.
Oh, okay.
I
Oh,
moved to Atlanta. I moved to Atlanta in '93.
oh, okay. Well,
So
so if you're around that kind of culture, you know, that culture mix, you just don't think much about it. I mean, we played football together. Went to high school together, went to elementary school together, and played kickball on the playground. We'd go out and shoot basketball. And so we just never thought, you know, I think a lot of people think the South is extremely racist, but it's not. It's probably not like what a lot of people have this preconceived notion it is.
right,
And but what I was going to say is like somebody like Chris or even me or anybody, you kind of get, you know, as you grow up and go through high school, go through adolescence, you kind of gather a kind of a circle of friends and you grow up with those guys and y'all play ball together and you hunt together and fish together and all that stuff. And then if you go through that whole cycle of life and you don't know a guy from Mexico, for example,
right,
well, then when you meet a guy from Mexico, you don't really know how to relate to him. You don't know. Now, some people would call that racist. That's not
right,
racist. That's
right,
it's a cultural thing, and you don't know. And a lot of times, people, you know, I mean, deep down in we're all flawed.
right.
We're all racist to some
To a
degree.
point.
Yeah, but you know, I think we just get past it and forget about it, and move on. Everybody I know, I don't know anybody that's that way down here, and I know a lot of people here, but I'm sure there are. But um, so I think what culture, this current modern culture, might call racism, is not really racism. It's just an I'm not sure how what to say it. It's like a um
It's
you're
like it's just a pattern.
yeah, you're unsure of how to
Yeah,
because you get a bunch of black guys together and you get a bunch of white guys together, the whole dynamic changes.
right,
I mean, a bunch of nothing but white guys together, we talk to each other a certain way. Now, we'll do that. There'll be 4 or 5 black guys with us, and everybody's talking the same way because we all know each other and we
right,
all but you get a bunch of black guys or Mexican guys together or Asian guys. They all have cultural things they talk about and ways they talk, and things that are important to them that became important to them through the way they were raised and their life experiences. And so sometimes those things are different, and you don't know how to, you know, like I may not understand why this is important to another guy, and he may not understand why something else is important to me. Those are cultural things that we grow up with or we form as we go through. So I guess, you know, people who just heard your story, they might say, well, Chris was a racist and John cured him. Well, Chris may not have been a racist. Chris may have just been raised in a, you know, I was in Claiborne County, Arkansas not too long ago, and I was talking to somebody and they were talking about they were talking politics and they were into it and they were a city councilman or something. And anyway, to get to the point, they were telling me that at one time in the 1980s, there were 9 black folks living in that whole county. I don't know what the total population of it was. So the point is that if you're in a place where there's 9 people or 9 families of one race, the rest of them are just white people.
right,
They're not exposed to a different culture and a different kind of thing, and so when they come together, they have to learn all that stuff. And
right. Yeah,
so anyway, it's a Sometimes I wish the younger generation. Look, you're virtually my age. You have seen racism.
Yes.
You've seen it before.
Yeah.
You know exactly what it looks like. I
Yeah.
do too.
Yeah.
And
I've had it happen. I've had it happen to me literally with a shotgun.
oh, some of the things that they call racist, I just want to go, what are you talking about? That's not racist. I'll
Right.
sh- I'll tell you a racist story, So anyway, it's an interesting topic to me because I don't know. I'm one of those people like uh there's two kind of people. You meet some people and they're cautious of you until you prove yourself to them, and then there's
Right.
other type people like me. I love everybody. I love everybody until they screw me over.
Right.
And then I
Right.
don't trust them anymore.
Right. And see, that's how that's how I see Chris, because if Chris was racist, he wouldn't fool with me.
Yeah,
He wouldn't have never fooled with me if he
right,
was racist. I think he was just pretty much saying he was checking me out, testing me out, and I was doing the same thing with him because that's normal.
right.
Because uh, like I said, he could have just said, you know what, he's a black guy. I don't want to fool with him because all black people are bad or whatever the case may be. But
Yeah.
I told Chris, I said, whatever you see me write on Facebook when I was on Facebook, that's or if you see me post something, or if you see me comment on something, I said, if you see me comment on my page, I said, whatever you see me do on Facebook, that's how I am in person.
Yeah.
And I said, anybody can portray to be somebody on a computer, but when you find out how they are in person, then you can make your opinion. I mean, then you can base your opinion on that. But he's a great guy. He really is a great guy, and I do consider him my brother. I do.
Has he
Yeah.
done any of your taxidermy?
Not yet because he's too far away. I told him, I said, you know what, I really started to take him my last buck, but 5 hours one way. I was like, no. If I was going to hunt there, then I would take the deer, and I would have got a couple of days of hunting in. But I still want to get a buck in Kentucky. I've hunted with him twice in Kentucky. Just seen some does. Second hunt, didn't see nothing. It was a great hunt, but didn't see anything. It's just, to me, it's a totally different way of hunting in his location, because I just look up these hills up here, and I'm thinking I'm used to hunting flat ground, and
Yes.
I just I would just have to be there to scout more, to adapt to my own style of hunting and see his style of hunting. He's a great hunter as well.
Yeah.
He can figure out a buck, and me and him, we hunt similar. We pattern a buck and we hone in on and get him. But I told him, I said, Chris, man, I need to learn how to hunt hills. I said, most of my hunting is flat land
Yeah.
and swamps and creek bottoms. I said, I'm not used to looking up and the deer's coming almost, eye level, and then it go under me. I said, that's hard for me. I would have to learn that, but it's beautiful country there.
All right. I told you when we talked the other day that we're gonna have to talk about Bigfoot. I'm seeing comments, people going, "Is this gonna be about racist talk, or is it gonna be about Bigfoot?"
Ha!
No. So, and somebody's got a comment here. Has John seen a Bigfoot?
Oh boy.
You want to talk about it?
Uh, yeah, I guess I can. Which let's see, which encounter?
You've gone over a couple with me, but a lot of people in here haven't heard it. So if you want to,
Matter of fact, I'll talk about all of them.
go ahead.
I'll kind of paraphrase all of them. South Carolina, I want to say 2000, might have been 99. I mean, it's 2099. So I'm hog hunting at this outfitter in South Carolina, and that's right on the borderline of Francis Marion National Forest. So I'm 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 gonna say something funny here. I actually looked at what's that show called? Finding Bigfoot,
Yeah.
because I've been a Bigfoot fanatic. I guess in the mind, not trying to chase him, but just in the mind ever since I was a kid. Me and my cousins. So we go hunting back in the swamp, right on the borderline of Francis Marion uh, National Forest and the Argo. We have to go by Argo, take it because it's swampy and certain areas is just over your head. So we went back in the Argo. It was me, Mike, and another hunter, and we just drove down through this creek, and it was like I guess, 11-foot alligator. So I'm thinking, okay, if I try to walk back, I got a problem. So I had to stay put. So anyway, he dropped the hunter off, and then he proceeded down this long gravel road, and finally he dropped me off, and I'm like 4 miles in the swamp now, and the mosquitoes are about the size of your fist. So the minute Mike's tail lights left me, after I got in the stand, I heard this scream. I mean, the hair on my neck just, stood up like a porcupine. And then three wood knocks. And I'm sitting in the stand like this, sitting in the stand, and it was over here to my right. And it wasn't 5 seconds later, three more wood knocks to my left, I guess 500, 600 yards away. And the scream and the three wood knocks. And I'm thinking, I just watched Monster Quest. And I heard the guy Bobo or whoever he is, he
Yeah.
talk about the wood knocks and the screams. And I'm thinking, okay, this is real because people do hoax stuff they do that crazy hoax all the time. And I'm thinking, okay, 4 miles in the swamp next to the national forest, which, as I heard, Bigfoot, Dogman, or whatever they are, they actually inhabit the national forest most of the time because they're so thick and you can't penetrate them and they feel safe. So I'm 4 miles in the swamp. I mean, I had my big old 454 Super Red Hawk pistol,
Whoa.
10-inch, 11-inch barrel, but I'm thinking, okay, what are you going to do if this one come from this direction and that one come from that direction and size you up? What are you going to do? So I look down that long road, Cam, and I'm thinking, if you start walking that way, you probably can get back, but is you might as well just stay put. But that was the longest 4 hours of hunting in my life because I was assuming that something was going to grab me out of the stand or just come up to me and size me up and just whatever. But you know what I was thinking? I
I'm not
was thinking
laughing at you. I'm not laughing at
what,
you.
what, what I was thinking. I mean, I wasn't terrified. I was just how do you put it? Uh, I was just on edge. I was on edge. I mean, my head was on a swivel. I was like an owl, man.
Yeah.
I don't even think my body moved. My head just kept going. So I hear water in the back of me, so I'm turning around real fast and like, okay, make sure you got your pistol on your lap all the time. But getting back to what I was saying, I think that these things were waiting for me to shoot a pig, and they were gonna come in and steal it because I've heard people say when they hear a gunshot, they know that you're back there hunting, and they're gonna come in and take your pig. But I didn't see anything. I didn't smell anything. And but they knew that I was back there. And I don't know if there's pretty much just signaling in the other one or they was pretty much telling me, hey, you're not supposed to be back here. But that was the longest 4 hours. But when I seen them headlights on that Argo, man, I almost kissed that thing when I when it pulled up. But you know what? I never told Mike what I heard, but the other hunter, I asked him, I said, did you hear anything scream while you were in your stand? He said, no. And I'm thinking, how could you not hear that? But some people are tone deaf. They're just tone deaf, man. But it was bad. It was
Now, I
really.
did that. I did that in a story podcast, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
You did. So getting to my next encounter, let's see here. Let me go to I'll go to Macon about the whistle. Well, I don't think I told you about the whistle in the dark, did I?
I don't remember it.
Okay. That's in Macon. I was hunting just outside of Macon, Georgia, and I'm hog hunting at night because I got my AR-15 with my night vision scope. So I'm sitting in the stand and I shoot a hog. And I did that on video as well. That was cool. So I shoot a hog and I got down went to my truck, and I was gonna go pick up the hog. So the guy told me about a spot not to drive down, but he didn't tell me about the other spot. So I bottomed my truck out, 4-wheel drive, just bottomed it out right down to the tailpipe.
Oh,
So I was like, oh gosh. So I'm stuck out there from 8:30 till 10 o'clock at night, and I called people that they were supposed to come and get me, and one guy said I can't come. Then another guy said I can come, so he ended up coming later on. But while I'm sitting there, I mean it's pitch black, nothing, because I'm back in a area where I'm hunting uh, and it's just farmhouses, just every few miles, and other than that, it's nothing. So I'm thinking, okay, so I'm looking out of my windshield. I'm looking to the left window, right window, back window. I had my 10 millimeter and my AR-15 laying in the seat. So I'm thinking that I gotta make sure the safety's off on that. And my Glock 20, my Glock 20, I had that on my lap. No, I had my Glock 40 with my uh I didn't went blank, Cam. With my Venom red dot. So I'm looking and I just cracked my window and I heard whistles. And I'm thinking, okay, here we go again. And I'm thinking, I don't see nobody. And I even did I took my AR, picked it up, and I'm scanning. I even stood on top of the truck and I'm scanning. I'm doing the 360 and I'm scanning. I don't see anything. But every 2 minutes, I would hear a whistle. And I'm thinking, I can't escape these things. And I'm thinking, okay, if you ever get your truck out, and you go back and get your pig, it might not be there. That's what I was thinking. But the pig was there. But I'm thinking, where are all these whistles coming from? And it's pitch black, man. All I see is stars. And and I'm thinking, okay, you turn your headlights on every 2 minutes. Something's 10 feet tall gonna be standing in front of your truck if you turn it on the third time or something like that. But
yeah.
I started seeing visions in the dark, but that was just me, my eyes playing tricks on me then because I was over analyzing everything because
Yeah.
being out there by yourself in the middle of nowhere, in the dark, no street lights. It was eerie. It was really eerie. I was there for almost 2 hours waiting for somebody to come and get me. But I just can't explain the whistles in the dark, man. It was just it was weird, and there were loud
And
whistles,
we
loud
hear
whistles.
people talk about the whistles, and I don't think people realize, uh, well, they may realize, but if you think about this, just walk out in your backyard at night. It doesn't matter if you live in the city or the country and listen, it's quiet. You may hear dogs barking, whatever. But imagine hearing something whistle at you.
Yeah,
You know it's something.
yeah,
It's nothing does that unless they do it intentionally
right.
because it sounds like a human whistling, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sounded like a human whistling times two. Like a I can't do it. I need some bigger lungs for that. But
Right.
for that to happen, I'm sitting in the truck and I think it was like over this way, but it's almost like it was close. And I'm thinking, okay, if it's that close, I should be able to get eye shine with my night vision scope. But I didn't pick up nothing. But even I had to walk from my truck to the very front of the hunting track, and I had woods on both sides. And the path is well big enough for a truck to ride down. But I'm thinking, okay, I had your Glock 40, you got your Glock 10 millimeter with you, so you just hope nothing don't just grab you from the left or from the right.
Yeah.
So, but it was strange, and I called my wife and I said, "Well, I'm gonna be a minute." I didn't ask her to come and get me because I'm an hour and a half away, and it's 10 o'clock at night. So I didn't want her to decapitate me when I got home. If she had came and got me, because I would have got fussed out for an hour and a half of driving going back. So I was like, you know what? If I got to stay in my truck all night, I'll try to dig myself out in the morning because she wouldn't have that.
Yeah.
So, okay, getting to my next encounter was I mentioned that to you. You did a story on that.
The tree
And
breaks.
that was a tree break. So I'm actually, uh, I'm gonna back up a little bit on that. Back in the '90s, I started going across that creek, and every time I go across that creek, it just be dead solid, nothing. And I'm thinking, I'm not even thinking, not even inkling of Bigfoot or whatever over there, because I'm thinking, okay, I'm in Georgia, I'm near Lake Lanier, so uh, not Lake Lanier, I'm sorry, Lake St. Clair.
Right.
So it's nothing like that near Lake St. Clair. That's not remote enough. That's
Yeah.
just what I'm thinking. So then I went back, I want to say 3 years later, and I see trees about I guess 20 inches in diameter. And one tree's laying over here in the path, 10 feet further, 20 feet further, another tree, but it's going in the opposite direction over the path. Like 15 trees going like this
Yeah.
down this dirt path. And I'm not even putting Bigfoot towards this. And I'm thinking, what in the world? But it was just so eerie over there. No birds, no uh squirrels, nothing, no cricket, not even crickets. And I'm still not even thinking about Bigfoot. I'm climbing under the trees, over the trees. So I don't never see anything. So going getting to the encounter. Um, this was April 2020. So I got out, I think it was like April 3rd, April 6th, something like that. So I pulled up to the track and I got out. The minute I rolled my four wheeler off the truck, I heard this scream. To me, it sounded like a T Rex because I mean I like Jurassic Park.
Oh, me
So
too. Me too.
I'm thinking about there ain't no dinosaurs here because I want to say wherever that sound was, or should I say wherever that fresh tree break that I told you about, that was about close to like 3 miles away from where I was standing, and that sound echoed across that little ridge, and it did it over and over. It did it about 20 times, and I'm thinking, what in the world is that?
Yeah.
That's the first thing came out of my mouth, and I don't know why I did it, but I'm glad I'm dead. I'm glad I did. I took my phone and I videoed it, and I was wondering if I was gonna capture the sound. It's kind of a muffled sound, but
I remember.
yeah, I
I,
could hear that sound, and then I was actually going over across the creek to get my camera, and then I thought about it. I said, okay, you got to go past that sound to get to your camera. And so I would ride my four wheeler every 50 feet and cut it off. And I was listening. So I would start it up, cut it off, start it up, cut it off. Finally got up to around that bend where I knew that area was, but the tree break wasn't there a few days before I actually got there that day. And that's what really got me freaked. Well, not freaked out, but really concerned because they weren't dead trees. They were fresh broken trees about 8 feet off the ground. And one was maybe like 6 or 7 on one side, and the other one on the other side was 8. So I'm thinking, okay, I've heard about Bigfoot breaking trees and they were leaving them in the roads, pretty much saying stay out of this area. So that really got me concerned. And I was like, oh my goodness. So crazy me. I drove across the trees and kept going and went and got my camera and I came back. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna film this. I'm gonna film these trees. So I went back a few days later and filmed the trees. And but what I did when I went back to film the trees, I heard something, but I didn't know what it was because I was on edge in a way because I knew something was over there to break those trees. I knew it wasn't a man, it wasn't a chainsaw or anything like that. So I got well, I said to myself, I got to go because I was getting a little uneasy. So I said, okay, sometime you don't want to stay in a spot too long because you might have problems. So I jumped on the four wheeler, but before I jumped on the four wheeler, I heard something running off. And it was bipedal because, like I said, Cam said, I've been bow hunting for 34 years. So I know what a deer sound like. I know what coyotes or whatever. I could tell between four legs and two legs that's running. So it was you know those what you call those things that pack dirt, those little dirt compactors, the portable ones.
Yeah.
Uh, it sound like that. I mean, like real heavy, real heavy thumps
Oh,
where it was
wow.
like thump, 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 thump. But it wasn't running that fast. It was just going thump, 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 thump. But it was going away from me. But what I did when I got back home, I took my SD card and put it in my computer, and I slowed a lot of frames down. And when I panned it to the left, where the tree break was on the left, then I panned back to the right. I realized it was a dark figure right next to me, I guess 10 feet off the ground. I could see the nose and the head and everything. And that's the same exact spot where it ran away from me. And I'm thinking, if whatever it was could have got me, it would have got me because it was within 10 to 15 feet of me. And I was like, man, it just was, I was piecing everything together because I would have dismissed the roar if I didn't see the tree breaks or heard the footsteps. I would have dismissed the roar of saying maybe somebody was playing a loudspeaker or something. And but it was that was real scary, man. That was real scary. I mean, real scary. And
Just the roar would have freaked me out.
yeah, it was. And I'm thinking, oh man, he did mess my turkey hunt up, because I'm trying to turkey hunt. So, but going to my photobomb because I said I got photobomb, and I'm hunting on my side of the track, as I call it, on a front, or should I say, in my safe zone. That's what I call it. So I said I'm not going across the creek anymore because I got the message. So I'm staying out of that side. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm safe on my side. So I'm sitting in the ground blind. I did a little ground blind. I'm sitting in that, and I'm gonna say 12 o'clock. Got in there 12 o'clock, and round about 4, it was something black. I could see something black in my peripheral because I'm actually I'm sitting in front of a brush pile. Cool. All right, Millis, I will.
You're getting
So
some fans in here, man.
yeah, that's cool. So I'm sitting in front of a brush blind, and I saw something because you could pick up stuff in your peripheral easy. So I seen something black in my peripheral, and then it felt like something was standing behind me, but it couldn't stand behind me because of the brush. But you know how I just feel like something's behind me, and
Yes.
I didn't want to turn around, and I did. So I decided not to. And this was about 4:15, and this went on for like 20 minutes. And I'm thinking I didn't hear anything, but I saw that dark figure in my peripheral go that way, and I'm thinking, oh Lord. So I didn't know if it was a turkey. Um, and I couldn't tell if it was tall or short or anything, but I just decided to stay still. So around about around about 5 o'clock, I started hearing vocalizations across that creek, and I was like, "Oh man, here we go." I'm thinking, I wish y'all just leave me alone.
Yeah.
So, I said, I hope y'all stay over there. So I'm actually hearing them again, man. I mean, you hear one, like I'm sitting here in the creek. The creek is about uh a mile and a half from where I was sitting. So, and I could hear one, and it's kind of weird because I remember the scream, no, the roar. I remember the roar in 2020, but I didn't hear the roar then. I heard screams. So they got different pitches, I guess. So or vocalizations. So I'm thinking, dang, because I'm trying to hunt, I'm trying to be comfortable, and I'm like, why don't y'all wait till I leave to do all this?
Really?
so so um uh I'm
Oh,
sitting there, and then I hear another scream over here, then another one here, and I heard one further back. You could tell the distance. One was way further back. And so I'm sitting there, and then all of a sudden it got a little quiet. And then about 6 o'clock, same thing. They picked up again. I'm like, come on, y'all. Just let me hunt in peace. Just scream at night when I leave. So uh around about 6:18, I got my turkey and went on to harvest my turkey. So I got up, got my camera. Um, yep, I believe I've seen my one.
do you think they seek you out? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'll lose these questions if they keep going by me. So,
Yeah, yeah, I know they are. But see, one guy was telling me, I'm gonna get back to the story in a second. One guy was telling me, he said, "Man, let me tell you something." He said, "If they wanted to hurt you, you would have been down because I've been going across that creek since like '96." And he said, if they wanted to hurt you, just he said they know your spirit. So that's why I don't know how they do that. But I guess like a person can know your spirit. He said they know your spirit and they know you're not over there to harm them. So they know what you smell like, they know what you look like. And they said they probably never seen a black guy. so, so I was like, okay. But
Racist Bigfoot.
but but I was like, man, so uh getting back to what I was saying, well, after I got my turkey, I sat down, did my photos, and my wife, I edited when I got home, and my wife looked. She walked up to the computer and she said, "Look." I was like, "Look at what?" She said, "Right there." And I looked, kind of close, and I zoomed it in, and I was like, "You can see eyes, Cam. You can see the head. I drew a red circle around it on my what's photo bomb by Bigfoot. I drew a red circle around it, and I was like, I see shoulders, and I was like, oh man, and I'm thinking because I turned around and I looked because I heard all those vocalizations back there, and I'm thinking, okay, are you guys coming out after you heard me shoot this turkey, or you gonna come out and try to steal my turkey from me? So, and I'm looking around, and right in the same area where I seen it on my SD, I didn't see nothing with my naked eye. I mean, I didn't see absolutely nothing. Just the trees were just moving a little bit, but I didn't see nothing. I'm thinking it really looked like I was being watched by. I'm not saying a family of them, but it looks like I was watched by at least one of
John, how far were they behind you?
them. 20 yards.
Oh, the
Yeah.
whole time? I mean, well, you think they're
Well,
about
I don't know. I really don't know because, like I said, the vocalization was way off, and I heard they can run fast, and it could have been some following me, and they knew I was getting ready to hunt, and they could have been just crouched down in them woods, wait for me to shoot.
yeah,
But I guarantee you, if I had got on my four wheel and left that turkey in that field, it probably wouldn't have been there when I came back.
no, I agree.
So, but
I hear that all the time.
yeah,
People
but I
hear
don't. I mean, I got my wife says I'm crazy. She said, no, no, no. She says I'm stupid. She didn't say I'm crazy because she said, what crazy person would have went across the creek and got their camera and you heard that vocalization? I said, Peyton, I said, well, she said, you ain't scared of nothing. I said, well, I don't like scorpions. So, but other than that, I don't know, man, but I can't hunt. I can't even hunt on my safe side now because I'm not scared, but I don't want nothing to come up to me and 10 feet tall, 800 pounds, and look me in my face because I probably faint.
oh,
Um,
man.
I probably would faint. And it's not that I want to make friends with them because I don't. And people told me you need to take them an apple basket of apples. I said, I ain't taking them nothing because, because I don't want them to expect something all the time when I go there.
Yeah, so,
So
like, the next time you try to leave, they'll say, "Oh, no, man. No,
yeah,
you
yeah,
want you to stay."
yeah, yeah. Where's my apples? So, but you know what? To add to the creek bottom situation, now I know what's been destroying those bridges because the owner he would always get guys to get those corrugated pipes, the big corrugated pipe, and
Yep.
they would fill it in with sand and concrete, just concrete bags. When water hits it, they get hard, and he would make a bridge out of that. And every, I guess, 5 to 7 days after that, that bridge would be destroyed, and they blamed it on the rain. Now I know what did it.
Yeah.
Now I
Do you
know what did
ever
it.
I know you were in discussions with the landowner there for a while. Do y'all talk anymore about it?
We do, but he's hard of hearing, and I don't talk much to him about it now because I don't think he would. He might want to try to get me locked up. so, so, so I tread lightly. Should I say I tread lightly now on what I say to him.
Yeah. Um, Now, we were talking before we started, and you're not hunting there anymore for this particular reason, right?
That's the only reason because I can't sit still, and then when I hear a branch crack behind me, I can't just sit still. I got to turn around and look because it's and that's not the way I hunt. I don't hunt that way. So I say, you know what? If I'm gonna be that uneasy, and it could be something sneaking up on me, I don't know. But if I'm gonna be that uneasy, it's best for me just to leave it alone. And I love to hunt, and I may find some other spot, but I am going back to Nebraska like I do every year for my birthday to turkey hunt. But
You, you know, when I go to the woods, especially turkey hunting, that's my favorite thing to do. Man, I want to have a good time.
yeah,
If it's a good bluebird day, I want to spend the whole day out there. I mean, I want to get out there before daylight, and I don't want to come home till it's dark. And to be out there and to love it that much, and to be sit there miserable worrying about what's coming up behind you all the time and stuff, I think I'd find another place too.
yeah,
I mean, let them
yeah.
have it.
Yeah, and that's what I said. I was like, you know what? I didn't harvest. I've only really been seriously turkey hunting since 2013, and I've harvested like 20 turkeys
Oh man,
since 2013, and uh, I don't even have to prove anything to myself with deer or turkey anymore. But I don't like turkey hunting that much. Is to say, hey, I'm gonna come back here and hunt anyway. If you come out, we're gonna have to fight. No, no, they're too big for me. I'm like, you know what? If you want this property, you can have it. You can just straight
you could
have it.
look at it another way. I mean, you've been hunting there for years. They they're not really bothering you. I
No,
mean, they're letting you know they're there somehow or another, but they're not coming after you or tearing your stuff up or whatever.
no, no. I would go back, and since I've encountered that, I went back and I asked myself, I wonder if they're going to destroy my feeder because I leave the feeder there for Mr. Bill and his crew. They rifle hunt for deer, so I leave the feeder there for them, and they've put feed in it because we can't put feed in it for turkey. It's illegal, but they can do it for deer. And I left my pop up blind there, and I'm thinking, I wonder if they're gonna tear my pop-up blind up or knock the feeder over or bend the legs. They didn't touch nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, so they don't bother anything. So, but I don't know, man. I
Just the
don't know.
idea, isn't it?
Yeah, I just don't want because I heard people say they got rogue, rogue possible rogue Bigfoots. They got kicked out of the clan and they want to test themselves and or one that's deranged or one that got rabies. I don't know, man. I don't want to shoot one. I definitely don't want to shoot one, but I don't want it to roll up on me and try to hurt me either. But I really don't want to shoot one.
Man, that would be to me like I know you've been to Africa and you've hunted some big game. You haven't hunted any of the big dangerous five, have you? But you've hunted big animals.
No, the only one I probably would try to harvest out of the five would be the Cape Buffalo.
Yeah.
I don't want to shoot a lion, leopard, or elephant. I don't. They too domestic. They too majestic.
That's
I
exactly what I was about to say.
I can't shoot a lion, man. You wouldn't. You give me $10 million, I wouldn't shoot a lion.
Now, if
I
he's
just
coming at you,
That's different. Yeah, that's different.
but an elephant, a giraffe,
No, I can't.
a
I
Cape
can't.
buffalo's on the hoof.
Yeah,
It's
I
kind of like
would.
a cow.
Yeah, I would shoot a Cape Buffalo. We had a big old bull, man, bull giraffe, 8 yards from our blind, and we in the blind, and I'm going like this, you know. And I told the PH in the tracker, I said, man, I'm sure glad we're in a stone blind because if we're in a regular pop up blind like we are at home, he could just kick us like a field goal.
That's what they do. They stomp you to death.
Oh yes,
A
yes.
big male giraffe gets after you. That's what I've read.
Oh man, and you should have seen what he did, man. He took a tree branch. He took tree branches this big around, and he was cracking them with his neck and bringing the branch down to eat the leaves. I mean,
Oh,
you just heard these pops, and I'm thinking, good lord, his neck is, man, it's just amazing.
oh, and they're so beautiful. They're
Yes,
a beautiful animal.
they are. And the PH kept saying, man, won't you shoot him? I was like, man, I can't shoot no giraffe. I
Yeah,
just can't do that. They're too
yeah.
majestic. I just can't do it. I
Dude,
said,
you just went up about 10 notches in my book.
well, I appreciate it. But I told him, I said, man, I said, there's hunters and there's mercenaries. I said, I
But
just can't. I can't shoot no leopards. I just can't shoot them.
if you had killed him, I wouldn't have been critical of you. It's just that I can't do it. And so we're kind of kindred that way, you
Yeah,
know. But I was gonna say like an elephant, a giraffe. I'd have a tough time shooting a zebra. Um, but and then you think about a Bigfoot. You said you would never shoot a Bigfoot, and that's what got me to thinking about that. It's like
yeah.
I don't think I could unless they're coming
I
at
mean,
you know.
yeah, yeah. I mean, if you're coming at me in full rage, and I rehearsed this over in my mind, and I said to myself, if I got my turkey gun, and you got the got the 6 weight uh XL 3-inch magnums. I said, if I had one coming at me, I would just try to shoot him in the eyes, so to blind him, and I get out of there. Because and it will break. Believe me, it will break my heart because you talking about these things look like people. You know.
That is so funny you said that. I just recorded a story. It's going to be in a podcast I upload tomorrow morning. That's exactly what the guy said. I don't want to give the story away, but his thought was, I'm gonna shoot it. I can't kill it with this buckshot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot it right in the face and try to blind it so
Yeah.
I can get away.
That's what I would do, or
Yeah.
or at least that would be my plan. But I hope and pray that I never have to encounter that. I got another one for you. Uh, Illinois. I was in Illinois, October, 2020. So I'm in the stand, and I don't hear squirrels, I don't hear birds, I don't hear anything. And so I said, "Oh Lord, something's not right." I don't know. I think I'm on another level now, Cam. I might I might be a Bigfoot tracker or something, or a Bigfoot magnet. I don't know what it is, but I'm sitting in the stand. This is like the fourth day of hunting, and I hear wood knocks, man. And I'm thinking, "Oh gosh, 3 perfect wood knocks." I heard it about 6 times. And I'm thinking, okay, here we go. Here we go again. And I'm not saying that was it, but it just sounded like the wood knocks in South Carolina. Same thing. And I'm thinking, why me? you know,
Yeah.
why me?
Oh man, there's something about you. There's
I don't know
something
what it
about
is.
you that yeah, I don't know. And I'm like the total opposite. I don't ever see, hear, smell anything.
Yeah.
No tracks, no nothing. And I think, I'm like a little kid, and I'll admit this here. I'm good to my dogs, man. I just took a rooster to the vet. Who takes a rooster to the vet? Most of
Yeah.
them just let them die. And I
Yeah.
saved my rooster. He had bumblefoot. He had a big spot on his foot, and he was sick. And took him yesterday. Spent a bunch of money to get him fixed up. Man, he's my rooster. He's a
Yeah.
good boy, and I want to take care of him. I'm good to animals. I figure maybe that vibe comes off, and if there's any big feet around, maybe they'll just step out and wave at me or something. But nothing. I never get anything.
Man. Well, they probably know you got a podcast. They probably say, "Oh, he got a podcast.
Yeah.
I don't want him to see." They say if he actually see me, he'll get 10 million views. And especially if you got a
Yeah,
picture of
don't
one
step
like
out in
that.
front of that guy. He runs his mouth all the time.
Yeah,
Don't
he'll
don't,
talk
don't do
about me.
that.
So, but I don't know, man. I mean, deep down, subconsciously, I really think my uncle, who got me started hunting,
Were you
my
a kid?
uncle, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Was that up in Connecticut?
no, it was in Maryland.
Oh, Maryland. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I started bow hunting. I started bow hunting when I was 16, and my uncles got me gun hunting when I was 14. But I didn't like the gun hunt. I just ended up being a bow hunter. And my uncle always told me, "Oh, you can't kill nothing with a bow." And I've harvested, gosh, man, 36 mature bucks, not including the younger bucks, but 36 mature bucks with my bow. And my uncle, I talked to him last week, and he said, "How many bucks have you harvested since you've been hunting?" And I was like, 36. He's like, "Gosh, you passed me." He only harvested like 4, And
Yeah.
I'm thinking, aren't you the guy that said I couldn't kill nothing with a bow? So, but
There's a question for you, John.
Limpopo,
Or is that East Africa?
that's southeast,
Is it in
almost,
South Africa?
yes, South Africa.
Oh, okay.
Just it's probably like 3 hours below Johannesburg.
Okay.
At least that's what the drive was when we left the airport.
Wow, man, we got 700 people in here, John.
What? Well,
You guys, while I'm waiting on a question for John. I'm gonna put a link in the comment section for his YouTube channel right now. You guys, when we copy that link and when we're done here, go subscribe to his channel. Look at his videos.
I
He's got
appreciate
great
that.
hunting videos. I like to watch his stuff. I don't get to watch YouTube hardly at all because I'm working all the time or I'm making some kind of video for YouTube.
Right.
I stopped today and was going back looking at John's stuff, and I remember from a year and a half ago how much I enjoyed his. He's got good instructional videos. He's got videos where he'll take you from start to finish how he killed a big 10-point deer. He's got Bigfoot videos. He's got the Bigfoot photobomb me video up, and he's just got a lot of good stuff. He's a shooter. He's a bow hunter. He's a good archer, and um, I tell you what, for Bigfoot stories, you can tell a Bigfoot story about as good as anybody I've ever heard.
Well, I try, but
You never stutter, man. It just rolls from beginning to end.
let me share this with your audience. If I didn't see or hear what I did, I wouldn't be on here because Cam's not paying me 5 cents, and I'm not trying to be a celebrity on this. I just don't want to see these things. I want them to just be. I just want them to leave me alone, really. But
Right.
really, let me change that. If I do see them, let me see them about 100 yards away.
Yeah.
Not up close and personal because I don't know what they would do. And like I said, if they've been knowing of me since '96, uh, fine, but just know me from behind some bushes, and just don't let me know you're there. So
Yeah. I'll attest to that. John's a real humble guy. He's not doing this. He's actually, it's a favor to me. I'm going to throw some questions up, John. You can answer them if you want to, or we can move on. You see that one?
yes, I've been hunting by myself since I was 16, and I do want to hunt with other people, but when I invite them, they don't show up. So
Yeah.
if I'm on a big buck, I'm gone.
Yeah.
I'm not staying home because they don't come.
There's one.
I use see Matthews. I shoot right now, and I'm shooting the Matthews V331. That's the bow that I shoot. That's my one of my favorite bows, and I shoot the Matthews Verdicts. But I've had, gosh, 50 or 60 bows in 34 years. I don't know, but for now I'm sticking with Matthews because they're real quiet. Big game rifle. I like the Barrett 50 caliber. No, I'm just playing. No, my favorite big game rifle is the 300 Win Mag. That's my favorite. I got a brand new 300 Win Mag in the safe. Got it magna ported, scope on it, and brand new, and it stays in the safe. Go figure, right?
You put any bullets through it?
A few, just to test it. It shoots like a 270. A 300 Win Mag shoots like a 270.
Yeah.
No, but I want to go to Arizona. I have a friend out in Phoenix. I want to go there, and I like to go there and turkey hunt in Arizona. I haven't been yet. I went to Missouri once, not to turkey hunt, but to scout. But I never got to go back because the track wasn't what I was looking for. But I really would like to go. I will really would like to go there to turkey and deer hunt if I got a good spot.
That's where I killed my first turkey, and it was a. I love to tell the story of how I killed that first turkey, but I won't bore y'all.
Nah, that's all right. But I'm thinking about leasing a property out there in Missouri somewhere. Have I ever seen a UFO? My brother has. Cam, my brother seen a UFO in Hurlock, Maryland.
Really?
He said a UFO came up in a cornfield, was hovering over a cornfield, and he said he hasn't told nobody else that story. Don't tell him I told you. Uh, he, he he has told nobody else that story but me. He said it was a corn. He was going down Hurlock Road, and it was dark that night, and over he seen all these lights over in the cornfield, and he looked up, and he said it was a UFO. He said it was just humming like a hum, and he said his car just died. And my brother's real credible. He's real quiet. I think I'm quieter. Well, no, he might be quieter than I am, but he don't mess around. If he's seen something, he's seen something. But he said his car, radio, everything went dead, and he said when a UFO left, his power came back. And
Oh no,
I was
really?
like, wow, man. I told him I wish I was there with you, because that would have been cool to see something like that.
I got a
But
question for you.
I did think I seen a UFO in my backyard, but it was a drone.
I got a question for you. Do you have your eye on a piece of land to lease in Missouri right now?
I just been looking on that. It's a hunting site that my friend sent me, like a hunting lease site. I think
Yeah.
it's huntingland.com. I think that's what it is. But I've been
Okay.
really looking for something like that to call my own. Well, to lease every year, because I'm kind of, excuse me, I'm kind of tired going to outfitters, because God did me dirty out there. And I'm thinking I'm driving all the way out here to hunt with you, and you kind of did me dirty. So I'm like, you know what? If I come all the way out here to hunt, I'm gonna come out here and lease my own land, do my own scouting, get
Yeah.
my own buck my way.
Right.
But I am looking to lease land either in Illinois or Missouri, in that area.
All right. I'm gonna find one or two more questions. I'm gonna cut you loose. I know you want to get back to your family.
Thank you, Miss Wells.
Well, somebody being ugly.
Uh oh,
Let's-
that's all. That's to be expected.
yeah. Um. All right. Well, man, we've been on for an hour and 10 minutes. And now everybody starts coming in.
Hmm.
But I'm not gonna. Let's see. Any violent? No. To this comment, John, you gonna have to go back and listen to his encounter stories. It doesn't appear to have any violence. You haven't encountered anything violent with these creatures, have you?
No, because like I said, apparently whatever's there, apparently they know me, and I guess they know I'm not gonna do anything to hurt them. So they really haven't done anything, or threw sticks, or I've heard people say they throw rocks and sticks and break trees and holler and scream and run away. I have none of that happen to me.
Yeah. Somebody want to know if you hunt Southeast Tennessee.
No, I'm not hunting in no Tennessee, because I don't like the Appalachian Mountains. I know it's Bigfoot out there. I'm not-
You're like me, man. I ain't climbing in mountains.
no,
I
no,
won't be able to walk straight.
no.
You know?
Tennessee is a beautiful place, Andy, but I'd rather drive through there to get to Kentucky to my friend's place than
Uh,
to climb them mountains. I mean, if you can find me a piece of flat land, I might hunt, but I don't feel like climbing. And I guess I'm not. I don't understand mountain deer. So
yeah.
if I'm there long enough, I can figure them out. But I've been hunting flat land for gosh 30 some years. So, but
Well, all right. Well, I guess we've held you long enough, and my wife just got home. I want to go in and see her, and but thank you so much for doing this. You're such a nice man, and I'm sorry I haven't kept in touch with you over the last year. I should have, but time just goes by so fast, and you forget to kind of keep in touch with your friends, and but I promise you I will, and because you're just a great guy, and I love talking to you.
no, I tried, man. I tell people what you see is what you get. So I'm that way.
That's
But I've been keeping up and down with you with the that guy with the AA-12, with all them Bigfoots coming out there. You had some type of chapter, and I'm thinking this is crazy. and they down in the swamps, and one guy went in the trailer and had Bigfoot heads in a bag. I'm thinking this is crazy.
Oh, Steve Lilly. Yeah.
Yes, I said this is crazy right here.
What do you think about those stories? Are they too violent for you?
Are they real? If
No,
they,
man. No,
I
I
give her
just
a
make
say,
them up.
I give her a say. I'm not gonna never dismiss nobody's stories, but
No,
they seem real. But if they're addictive though, because
that's what I like to hear.
you like, oh man, when's chapter 7 coming out, or when chapter 8, or
Oh, dude, you really like those stories, don't you?
yeah, they deep. Especially when I remember the one when you was talking about they they trapped them in a cabin. And then you had what 4 or 5 guys. You had one guy with the AA-12, and then the dog men started coming through, and they started fighting the Bigfoot and all that stuff. Then one guy shot and blew one of them head off. I was like, oh my gosh, look at this. And
You
then
like
one
that
guy,
when they threw the cottonmouths up under the
yeah,
church? That was
yeah.
my favorite one.
I was like, man, this is crazy here. I said, then I asked myself, I said, is this real, or is this just like fiction or something? But it brings you in. It does bring you in. But I'm
It's
thinking they're gonna walk around with Bigfoot heads in a bag. Golly day. But
uh,
it's cool. I'm gonna look at the rest of them, and because it takes it's time consuming, and not only time consuming, it's addictive.
yeah.
But
And
I really like them.
yeah, if it's something that I put out and it sounds funny or whatever, you just trust me, I made it up. And I
Okay.
tell people I just assume people know when they listen to
Yeah.
that it's just a story I dreamed up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
70% of my mind says it was fiction, but
oh, yeah.
30%, I was like, you know what? Is is Cam hooked up with some kind of mercenary group? So then I said, no, I don't think so. Then I just kind of shrugged it off. But I was like, those stories are like deep. I mean,
Well,
real deep.
I was talking to a guy today. He's a screenwriter. He lives in California, and he's actually sent me several emails, and I have like 2,000 emails in my inbox, and there's probably half of them I haven't even been able to open yet. I mean, that's a lot of emails to read, but
Yeah.
so I had missed his, and he says, "Look, I'm a screenwriter. Here's my story, and there's a Bigfoot in the screenplay."
Right.
I said screenwriter, screenplay writer. But and it's a great story. I haven't read it yet, but he explained it to me today, and he got me really chomping at the bit to get into it and read it. But we got to talking about Steve Lilly, and I was telling him that Steve Lilly's just this guy who he's like a composite of about 20 other guys I know.
Right.
Piece of this guy, a little piece of that guy,
Yeah.
a piece of you've known those crazy guys. You
Yeah.
probably played ball with them in high school or worked with them at some point. And
Yeah.
there's just some kind of freak thing about them. And if you know a half a dozen of them and you put them all together, you
Yeah.
got a character right there.
Man, you need to do something with that, because I think you could come up with some type of Hollywood series. And I like the one with the old grumpy guy that was in a mobile home next to Steve, and he took him underneath the tree, and the Bigfoot attacked the man, and he said the man he spoke to him sense or something like that, but he was hollering like a girl, and
I know why you like that, because you know somebody like that,
I
don't you?
do,
We all do.
I do. That was funny. Man,
All
that
right.
was so funny. I was laughing at that old man. I said, "That's what you get, being so mean."
I was gonna make that character like a tweaker, a meth head or something that he
Yeah,
just picked up. But I thought, no, everybody knows that old know-it-all butthole of an old man that lives down the street,
yeah.
and it just seemed a little more real to me. So
That was funny how he gave him the gun that didn't have no bullets in it. I was like, man, this is too funny here. Man, I said, that's what he get. I said, I bet he won't talk no stuff no more.
Steve Lilly's smart. He's not stupid. He's a pretty smart guy.
Yeah. I was like, this is so crazy here. But
Uh,
I mean, at first I thought Steve Lilly was real. And I was like, wait a minute. I said,
yeah.
this guy here is like a G.I. Joe on steroids or something. So
All right, man. I'm gonna cut you loose. Thank you for doing this. Get back to your family and tell your bride to keep looking for those Bigfoots and pictures and stuff. And
Oh man, she's actually that's a sore spot for her, but I'll try.
yeah, because she thinks you're chasing Bigfoot, doesn't
She
she?
does. And I tell her, I said, Peyton, I'm trying to run from him. I'm not going towards him. I'm trying to go away from him. So it just don't it just doesn't gel with her. She just stop chasing Bigfoot. I was like, I'm not chasing Bigfoot. I'm trying to run from him.
And you're like, chasing Bigfoot? What are you talking about?
That's basically what I said. And that's how I said it with the hands and everything. So
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. John, thank you again for doing this. And we'll man, we ought to do this again here in another month or so and see. But if you have any activity, any good stories come up, you're always welcome to jump on with me.
all
And
right, sounds good.
and again, everybody, I'm gonna put one last comment in the comment section. This is a link to John's YouTube channel. He didn't ask me to do this. This is not why he's on here, but go show him some love over there at the Iceman series channel. And do a bunch of thumbs up on his videos and make comments and subscribe and all that stuff. All that said, thank you guys. John, you stay with me after I
Okay.
end the broadcast, but thank you for joining us. We'll see you guys tomorrow. I've got a podcast I'll upload before noon tomorrow. Two really great stories, and I hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll click on it and watch it. All right, we'll see you guys next time.